Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Coming up next, we have the incredible Alana Tyson, author of My Red, White, and Blue. Her books are available for purchase on our table. She will be doing a signing right after this reading. Get ready to celebrate Juneteenth and explore the significance of American history.
Thank you so much. First, I want to say, and I only have 30 minutes, and I typically do this kind of thing, and it takes usually like an hour-ish, because it's so much to talk about with this book, just from the cover alone. But I will start off first by saying thank you so much for being here. Like, I don't take any of this for granted. Like, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're sitting here listening to me talk about a passion project. And so thank you so much for that. So let's get into the book. I usually do like school signings, and I will do a reading, but I'm going to try to kind of split up this 30 minutes as best to give you the most that I can in this short amount of time. So I usually read this story to students. I go around to elementary schools, read picture books, read this book. This is my debut picture book, and people often ask, is that the first book that you've written? And it's not the first book that I've written, but it's the first book that I've sold. This book actually went to auction, so and the irony of that is it almost never got written. I came up with the concept for this story in 2016 when my son was just 10 years old. He's now a teenager, graduated from high school, but I came up with the story, and it all started because I went to go buy a t-shirt with the American flag on it, because I'm a patriot, and I've worked for the federal government for 22 years, and I'm like, I love this country. We as African Americans have built this country that is undeniable, and so I went simple just to go and buy a t-shirt with the flag on it. And I felt some kind of way about that, putting my 10-year-old in a t-shirt with the flag on it. And I was like, why do I feel that way? That's not cool, right? Like I'm a patriot. My parents are from here. My parents were born here. My mom is from Harlem. My dad is from Savannah. So I'm like, but I'm feeling conflicted about putting my 10-year-old brown boy in this t-shirt with the American flag, because on the one side you have Kaepernick, who's around the same time, and he's kneeling, and we're silently protesting, and the cities are in turmoil about Black lives, and so Black folks are looking at the flag one way, but then you also have people like military folks, Black folks in the military. Winsome just talked about that. She talked about moms going away to the military, right? So we're patriots at heart. So there's that conflict. And I'm like, well, if I'm torn just trying to buy this t-shirt for my son, how are kids dealing with this, right? What are kids feeling when they're in school and they're being told to, salute the flag? What are their thoughts behind all that? So that was the catalyst to me writing this book. So it's 2016. I'm sitting there in the store, like literally torn, looking at the t-shirt, like, I don't know if I feel like a traitor, because our cities are burning, and George Floyd, and all these other lives. So I almost didn't write the book. I thought maybe I should write a story about that conflict, and I didn't write it. I sat on the idea for 2 years, roughly. Trying to convince myself that it wasn't really a story, that nobody wanted to hear it, that it wasn't a story for me to tell, perhaps. And so 2 years passed, and I just didn't do anything with it. And then 2018 is still tugging at me, the idea of this conflict in Black communities where we are patriots and we do love our country, and we have all these reasons to love this country because we built it. Right? Because we built it, And nothing against silent protest; those are necessary. And so I wrote this book, but I was like, well, I don't really want it to be about either or. I really want, because children are not that black and white, right? I wanted it to be about choices, and that if, as a child, you decide that you're going to either silent protest or salute the flag, that you do it with vigor, whatever choice you choose, right? So if you decide to salute the flag, you salute it with the same vigor that Kaepernick decided to kneel. And so that is really what this book is about. And with that, I will go into some reading. And I wrote this book on a flight to, once I finally decided to write it, sat on it for 2 years. I was on a flight to Tokyo. It was like 18 hours. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do for 18 hours? Well, you know, there's that book you've been avoiding. So I said, okay, let me see what I can do. And I wrote it on that flight to Tokyo, supporting our country, because I was on a work trip. So with that, I'll read some. All right. This is my flag. It represents me. A symbol and freedom of hope is what I see. I'm American born. My family is too. So we show off our pride, waving red, white, and blue. All right, try to show it to y'all as I read. It's a little bit hard to do, but I'll try. Okay. Our flag greets our neighbors and strangers and friends. It jumps in the breeze as it waves and extends. A hearty salute every morning is due as I ride in to learn some things old and some new. From the bus, I wave hi to the people I know. Mr. Ming in his shop, Dr. Smith on the go. My flag is theirs too, and I'm happy to share. Our community strong, full of people who care. At Circle, we're different as different can be. Ms. King says, our flag promotes diversity. Your teacher is right, said my grandpa to me, but there's also much more to that flag's history. Grandparents always have the best advice and stories. All right. He said, long, long ago, when his dad was wee small, Old Glory did not represent us at all. With her beautiful stripes and those twinkling white stars, America's history left long-lasting scars. While our flag can mean promise and refuge and glory, for some folks, it tells a complete different story. While she waves in the wind and invites all to stay, there are many who did not see things quite that way. And I feel so torn to interject in between to kind of give you little tidbits about some of these passages. And I will stop here to tell you real quick that I had a coworker, a white male coworker, very good friend of mine. He has school-age children, and he got the book, and he was sharing the book with his daughter who's in school-aged. And this spread here, she just was something she did not know. And she said to her dad, she was like, wow, like they actually did that? And this girl is maybe 8, 10 years old. So, you know, windows and mirrors, right? That's what picture books are supposed to be for our little ones. All right. The North and the South were divided in view. One side wanted freedom for all, not a few. And when the North won, millions yelled, "We are free!" But then came a new call for equality. Many stood in the streets, brave and calm for the fight, asking only for change and demanding their rights. After sit-ins and marches and protests and songs, today we still fight, and there's much that's still wrong. So when the flag flies, some decide not to praise. Instead, they refuse in a number of ways. A fist in the air, kneeling down on one knee, a silent head bow while they sit quietly. There's no justice for all, so we choose not to stand. We will not sing the anthem. We won't raise our hands. A protest that's silent yet public and grand. A message that many may not understand. Grandpa said, "Child, it's their right not to sing. But there's lots about that flag and the pride it can bring." Obama and Tubman, Goins, Martin, and Parks, they helped shape this country and all left their marks. My ancestors helped make America great. That is a matter of fact, and there is no debate. An entire museum in DC tells our story, how we're weaved in each stitch of that faded old glory. Still, showing your pride might sometimes seem tough. On days like that, know that what you feel is enough. To praise our flag, Grandpa said, is a choice. It's for you to decide how you use your voice. The end. Actually, one more page. Got ahead of myself. I love that page though. So, at school and at games and whenever I can, I choose to salute with my heart and my hand. I'm my ancestors' dream, what they hoped to be true. A brown child who'd find pride in the red, white, and blue. That is the end. All right, so I got time. It's good. Okay, so this is when I go into a few little backstories. So this book could not have been as grand and as wonderful as it is without me shouting out the illustrator, London Ladd. London! I'm going to see London soon in Philly, share a few things. So when I wrote this, I had no idea who the illustrator was going to be, and I actually had envisioned the main character as a female in my mind. But that's not how the publishing industry works. So when my editor went forth and acquired the book, she chose the illustrator, and it turned out to be this amazing artist that is London Ladd. He's done tons of stuff. He's got lots of awards. I was shocked when I found out that he would be illustrating my book, and so he was selected, and we actually did not meet at all to collaborate on this. So imagine my shock when I saw the cover and the main character was a little boy. But when we finally did talk, he said he couldn't have envisioned it any other way. And so that was how he envisioned the story. And so there are just some amazing and beautiful spreads in this book. This was definitely a passion project of mine. I call it the book that almost never was. And so I think I'll open it up for questions, since we have some time, so I don't have to sit here and talk.
Let's give it up one more time for Alana Tyson. Wonderful. So I'm going to stand there, and if you have some questions, I'll pass the mic. Any questions?
So Alana, you've shown this to your son, I suspect.
Absolutely.
What does he think of it? What was his reaction?
You know, again, when it was acquired during the pandemic, so 22-ish. He's proud. He's a teenager now. He's 18. He just graduated from high school. He's doing a lot of his own projects and doing great things in his own right. And so he's proud. He likes it. I will. you mentioned him, let me just grab this real quick. This is the shirt, which I did eventually get. But this was the shirt that started it all. This t-shirt. This was the shirt that I was like, I would love for him to have that and wear it in the summer. It was, 4th of July. And yeah, so that's the shirt that was the catalyst for this book. But he's proud. He's proud of mom and dad.
Any other questions?
No? Let's see. Trying to think of some other little tidbits that I can share about the book since I've got a little more time. Let's see. So I didn't see any of the illustrations previously, and when I saw the cover, initially I had some questions about the eyes of the character, and I like sharing this story because a lot of times when we're new at things and you're not sure of where you stand in that realm. Like I was totally new in London. This was maybe his, 15th book. But it was something about the eyes that I wanted changed, and I was scared to go back to the editor and ask for that because I was like, how am I I'm new at this. I can't be asking for changes. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. The worst they could say is no. And so I did go back and I said, there's something about the eyes that's just not quite there in terms of what I had envisioned. I was like, can you please ask him to go back and just take a second look at the eyes, because they weren't quite they wasn't giving me what I wanted. And I'm so glad that I asked, because then when it came back, it was this. And it's so funny because every single school that I've gone to, there's always one little boy, and I usually do 2nd, 3rd grade, there's always one little boy in the class that asks, why does that kid look like me? And I think that was the illustrators, I think that was London's intention, to create a little brown boy that resonated with any child that could see themselves in this image. So yeah. All right. So with that, I think I'm gonna head over to my table and I will be signing. Thank you all so much. And I'll be over here.
Thank you, Alana. Just a reminder, her book is for sale at the Green Table.